Carolina. I'm from Boston, but my wife is from Virginia, so we have something in common. But thank you for inviting me, Jason. Thank you for your, he doesn't even hear me. But Jason, thanks for inviting me.
Thank you, Sheriff, for coming. We really appreciate it.
Great people live in North Carolina.
The best.
This is a quick trip for me. I was in Tampa last week and for that Republican convention. Now you have the Democrat convention here.
Hey.
I hope they spend as much money here as the Republicans did. Build up the economy, since you do have unemployment, unfortunately, in this state, and that's sad. Was it like 8-9%? All people want to do is work, put food on the table for their children, and work hard and be successful. So maybe things will change next year, maybe under a new administration. So, you know, I've been in law enforcement 50 years, and by the way, I learned something for all of you that have to go through the check line and at the airport, that I didn't have to take my shoes off and my jacket and belt. They have a new policy that I didn't even know about. Anybody 75 years and older doesn't have to do this. So I qualify. Isn't it great to be a senior citizen? You don't even have to take your shoes off. And I say that, I am a senior citizen. I joined the Army the day the Korean War broke out, and I wasn't 10 years old. And I spent my whole life fighting drug traffickers in Turkey, Mexico, you name it. And now I have the honor of being the elected sheriff for 20 years in Maricopa County, Arizona. We have 4 million people that live there that we know of. There's a few extra floating around. And another thing I never realized, because I used to lock them all up in my career in jail, but now as the sheriff, I run the jails. And I take that very seriously. I remember when I ran in 1992, I made 2 promises. I'm going to put up Korean War tents in the desert and then build up my volunteer posse. Well, we celebrated our going on 20 years of the tents, August 3 of this year. And I took a little heat. I realized it gets hot in the tents, like 135 degrees in the summer. But when I get hit by the media and everybody else, I always shut them all up. When I say our men and women are fighting for our country and they're living in tents and they never committed a crime, they're protecting us, so shut up and quit complaining. So that's what I talk about the tents. Another thing, I have a new policy that I'm only hiring veterans. We have some openings, and when I get back tomorrow, I'll be graduating another officer class made up of veterans. So we have to take care of our veterans, not just talk about it, but do something about it. Another thing very interesting, I know a little about the selective service system. Not going to get into a certain controversy I'm involved in with the president. That's another thing. So I've signed up 18,000 illegal aliens for the selected service. So I'm doing my part in the jail. I don't want to get into the chain gangs and pink underwear and everything else. By the way, I got to be a little careful what I say. You know, if you say the wrong word, I'll make national news. You can't even, there's no freedom of speech anymore. You can't say anything. Well, I'm getting blasted, depending who you are, of course. So I have some good news today. since I'm the poster boy for illegal immigration, just doing my job under 2 state laws, enforcing the illegal immigration laws. I was in Tampa, and I arrived back a couple of nights ago, and I have all the media there where the Justice Department cleared me and my dedicated officers of criminal charges. Well, we were never charged, but it's been going on for 4 years, so it's nice that they cleared us of those charges. Now, we still have a racial profiling case before a judge, federal, right now, and we still, the Department of Justice has taken me to court recently. Very convenient. They've been working on this 100 days since Obama took office, but it's very convenient now to take me to court, which I am going to court because I'm not going to let the federal government take over my office. I'm the constitutional elected sheriff, and they're not going to put monitors and tell me how to do my job. So that's another thing. Now here I am in North Carolina with the president right down the street, and I just get word on the Supreme Court ruling on this illegal immigration where they left intact one very important part of it, where law enforcement can stop people and ask for their documentation, see if they're here illegally. So just about 2 hours ago, the local district federal judge ruled in favor of law enforcement and what the Supreme Court order was. So now that's causing a big commotion. So I've been on so every time I leave town and something happens, good is happening. So maybe I ought to leave town more. But this is a situation we've been doing anyway. My office in the last 5 years has investigated, arrested on the streets and in our jails over 51,000 illegal aliens, and I think someone from this state should thank me, because a lot of times we stop these guys coming through Maricopa County and arrest them and put them in jail. They're heading up here. So your governor ought to say thank you, Sheriff, for stopping these guys before they get here to take the jobs that you should have by working in a workplace here illegally with false identification. So every time we raid a business, and we're the only ones doing it, we did 65. Every time we do that and arrest people working in the business, the majority have false Social Security and identification. On the other hand, everyone is in this country illegally. So I look at it as an economic problem too. Because every time we arrest these people, the word gets out, since of course I do in front of all the TV cameras, and people start applying for a job that are here legally in our country. So it is an economic problem. At the border, and I covered the border for 14 years as the top federal DEA, drug enforcement official in Mexico City, South America, Texas, Arizona, so I think I know where the border is. However, the president doesn't invite me to talk about my federal experience or 20 years as the sheriff. He's not going to invite me to the White House. Of course, he's made some remarks about me a few months ago. I wish I could meet with the president. I'm not far away. Let's go have a beer like when he had the sergeant in Cambridge, Mass, and locking up the college professor. The president took a lot of heat on that. So he invites him to the White House. How come he doesn't invite me to the White House? So, that's not going to happen. But anyway, the problem right now on that law is the president is skirting that law by executive orders. Now, what good is arresting these people on the streets when you stop them and you have suspicion they're here illegally if ICE will not pick them up? So, well, what good is the law? So the president formed his own law without going through Congress with executive orders. And I'm not even talking about the DREAM Act. That's another one he just did. The DREAM Act. What he's doing is giving amnesty. That's what this is, amnesty. So I hope at the Democrat convention they talk about illegal immigration. However, I'm sure I'll be a subject. They've already mentioned me at the convention. Now, after this new ruling that just came out, they're not going to be happy campers tonight down the street. But now comes the racial profile, and the ACLU, they're already suing me. In fact, I'm waiting for a judge's decision. Now they're going to start talking about the race card. This is going to cause profiling. And we don't racial profiling, and I'm sure that other law enforcement agencies do not either. But that's going to be the big thing, racial profile. So they're trying to do everything to give amnesty to those in this country that came here illegally. Now you have to talk about the border. It's very interesting. Everybody says we must secure the border. Everybody knows that. A 12-year-old knows you should secure the border just like you secure your house. But they put a little word on there. First, we must secure the border first, and then we will look into comprehensive immigration reform. Why do they say first? Because they don't want to arrest them in our country. They want to use the border as a reason not to by saying secure the border. We do it on both sides of the border. You do it in Mexico, you do it at the border, you do it at the interior, in the interior of the United States. But nobody wants to do that. That's what this is all about. I have compassion for the Mexican people, having served there as a director for 4 years. G. Gordon Liddy and I in 1969 under President Nixon, and by the way, I just was with his brother Ed Nixon, great guy, but in 69 Liddy and I ran an Operation Intercept to close the border. We actually stopped every car, backed it up to Mexico City, and they all hated us. Just by chance I took over as director in Mexico City. Very difficult because I had agents working undercover, and their lives are at the mercy sometimes of the federal police and the army. So what did I do? I used to have the Attorney General come over my house. He liked blueberry pie. So my wife of 55 years, not that time, is 55 now, knew how to cook blueberry pie, so she pumped out blueberry pie. And with a little whiskey on the side, I got more done with blueberry pie and whiskey with the Attorney General. I didn't need the big stick. I didn't have any problems working with the Mexicans in Mexico and South America. So maybe we ought to get together sometime, one president to the other, and have a little blueberry pie and say to the Mexican president, Mr. President, you have 50,000 that have been killed by the cartels. I even hate that word, cartels. I thought that was a French restaurant. All at once, everybody comes up with these sound bites. Cartel, transparency. You notice everybody says we have to be transparent. Somebody must have been looking at a dictionary. I never heard of that word before. Or boots on the ground. What is that? Now we need boots on the ground. You notice they always come up with these cliches, and everybody copies it from the dog catcher all the way up in the political system. I'm not accusing them of anything. So let me call it organized crime, drug traffickers. I won't call it that. How do you guys get away with this? Mafia. You're not supposed to say that. That's a bad word. Mafia. I'm Italian, so I could get. But you're supposed to say organized crime or the crime syndicate. But you see, nobody's going to complain about that word, which I'm not complaining either, because I did work on the mafia in Chicago and everywhere, okay? But they come up with cartel, new word. So everybody knows. So I would say, Mr. President, we'll help you. And when I was there, we were operational. We did everything we do in the United States in law enforcement. When I was in Turkey, I worked undercover, did everything that the cops do, except put the handcuffs on. Technically, you can't do it, but we won't get into that. So I would say, Mr. President, let's send the Border Patrol across the border, work with your military, bilateral, none of this invading Mexico, and get the resources there. And then they're going to say, well, it's too dangerous for our U.S. Border Patrol to work across the border. Okay, then let's send the military across the border. We have them in Afghanistan and Iraq and everywhere else. This is our neighbor country. Let's help them and send our military over there, working with their military. That's only common sense. And we'll clean the mess up. I guarantee you, this mess in Mexico will be cleared up, reduce the drug trafficking coming across into our country and illegal immigration. It's common sense, but nobody will talk about it. Nobody mentions it. It's not politically correct, I presume, to offer resources to Mexico other than giving them millions and millions of dollars of equipment or all this training and we exchange intelligence. No, you have to get on the streets and get these dope peddlers off the streets in the United States and across into Mexico. So that's my strange philosophy. I'm not the president. I'm just a little old sheriff of Maricopa County, Arizona, with 4 million people, as I said. I don't know how big your state is, but I may be bigger than your whole state. I don't think so. You probably got, what, 5 million, 6 million, I don't know. But it is a big county, the third largest in the country. So I do have some impact on what we do in Maricopa County. As far as me personally, I'm not running for anything but sheriff. I'm happy being the sheriff. I don't want to be the governor or anything else. All I want to do when I'm finished, ride off into the sunset. I don't even carry a gun. I get all these threats on me. By the way, I don't bring security with me. Actually, I feel safe. Yeah, not in this place, I don't need it. I may need it down at the Democrat convention if I happen to go down there. And I'm really disappointed because I thought we'd have some demonstrators here. Everywhere I go, we have demonstrators. Maybe they can't afford the gas to get here. I don't know. So I'm really disappointed. What'd you guys do? Scare them away or what? The what?
Just for you, we scared them away.
I don't want them to be scared away. I want them here. Got the TV camera. Give them some action. Because I always go and talk to the demonstrator. They scream at me. They give me certain fingers and everything. But nobody cares. They follow me to Tampa, Florida. You know that? 6 of them. And the week before, they're in front of my church. I can't even go to church anymore without these demonstrators in front of my church call me every name in a book. And that's just a little group in Phoenix area. They don't like me there. But that's good. That's great. They don't like me. Doing my job. So anyway, that's the way I operate. You're great people. You personify what our country is all about. And it's very sad that we have this unemployment problem. Very sad. So let's hope that something can be done with it. People want to work. I don't think you should be jealous of a small business person becoming rich with a Brink truck. I love it when they load up the Brink truck with all their money because they worked for it, taking risk in business, and we ought to praise those that have money, not criticize them. Because we don't work for the government. They're supposed to be working for us. The people don't report to me. I report to them. I'm their sheriff. So I have my secret weapon for all the people after me, the Justice Department, on and on and on. My secret weapon are you. I mean, you can't vote for me here, but the same thing. It's the people. The people. And you can do wonders, believe me. You can do wonders. You can move mountains. You can shake up all the politicians. So they'll do what you want them to do if they want to get elected or re-elected. And I made the most stupid mistake in my political career. I say this in Phoenix, I don't care. My wife says, shut up, what the hell you keep talking about it? That's 20 years ago that you made that stupid mistake. No, I made a mistake and I will never forgive myself. I must have had an extra glass of Italian wine when I did it. You know what I did? I said the sheriff should be appointed and not elected. Must have been crazy. I would have been fired 20 years ago if I had to report to some bureaucrat or politician. There'd be no pink underwear, no chain gangs, no tents, no 40-cent a day meals. By the way, our meals went up, and I'm very angry. They're 50 cents a day. They were 40 cents a day. In fact, I'm going to start charging them $1. Got to, pay for other things too. So I'm very proud of our meals. We get 2,500 calories. Took away their breakfast and their lunch. Give them brunch. And everybody worries about the pink underwear. And I'm afraid to say it because they'll twist what I say. They already did it in Chicago, use it against me in court when I made a joke about pink underwear. Why do you put them in pink? I'll tell you why. Because they were stealing the white underwear, 3-4 pairs. As you check them out, you look there and they got white underwear. 3 pairs, our underwear. So I decided to do it pink. Nobody wears pink underwear. So we know it has to be ours. That's the one reason. The other reason, they don't like pink. Why would you give them a color they like? Well, I'll stand by that. They asked me that in court. That's true. Actually, pink is a very soothing color. So it might cut down assaults in the jail. So I have a reason for everything we do. In fact, I've been on 4,000 foreign media, TV. Last week I had them from Ireland, and every week when I get back, I get off the plane tomorrow morning, I have to talk to the London Telegraph about our chain gang. We have the only female chain gang in the history of the world. I put men on the chain gang 12 years ago, and I'm an equal opportunity incarcerator. Don't discriminate against women, so we put the women on. There's nothing wrong with that. So I like to do things different. Why just be the sheriff, take a car home? I don't really need the job, but I do it because the people want me. And as long as they want me, I'm going to keep running. I'm running again 2 months from now. I got a lot of people after me, but that's great. You know why it's great? When you win, it's a little extra. So thank you. Jason, thank you for... Anybody open for questions, or is this it? You got a time schedule?
We'll take like 2 questions.
2 questions. I want bad questions. None of this nice guy. Give me a real tough question.
This is impromptu, so you got a question, ask him.
Everybody's afraid. I can't lock you guys
There you
up.
go.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, I was just wondering, these harsh punishments, does it help stop people from,
Coming back?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's harsh. What's harsh? Living in hot tents and eating cheap food? That's good. They get free food, free room and board. But no, they come back sometimes, but that's okay. They want to come back, they get cheap food. I'm not going to give them steak for coming back. Doesn't matter.
All right, one more. Anybody?
One more.
I want to know who your heroes are in local and state government.
Who are my heroes? I don't know. We throw that word around, everybody, hero. I don't even like using the word hero. But I really, in state government, I don't really have any heroes. I guess maybe my father. My mother died when I was born, so my father had a tough job raising me. But I really don't. There's a lot of good people in this country that have given a lot themselves. But hero, I don't know. That's a tough one. Because I don't use the word.
Who do you admire in law enforcement?
Who I admire in law enforcement. Other than me?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's going to go all over, you know. Just joking, egotistical, that's just joking. You know, there's a guy, anybody from Philly? Nobody's from Philadelphia, I guess. But there's a guy that I met a couple of times, a great mayor and police chief. Of course, he happens to be Italian, Frank Rizzo. So I kind of liked him. In law enforcement. I really haven't studied people in law enforcement.
Thank you.
I hate to be negative, but I'm trying to tell you the truth. Maybe I'm a strange guy.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you. All right, thank you.